I love this time of year. It's so beautiful. I wanted to make a quick video about what you can do if you have to get around and you can't drive because maybe you've had surgery or something. So I am back in my car today, and I'm very grateful for that because even if there are other options to driving, I much prefer driving. I've been driving since I was 16. And this last time was really the first time that I haven't been able to drive in my entire adult life. So my reason for not driving is I had brain surgery 7 weeks ago, and my vision was impaired initially. Everything's gone back pretty much to normal now, and I am cleared and safe to drive again. Short distances. I'm not going far, and I'm not driving at night, but I'm doing little short drives now. Now we're going to get rid of the obvious things that you can do. You can walk if you're healthy enough and it's safe to do so and where you're going is close enough. Of course, you can walk where you need to go. The world does get much smaller when you can't drive initially until you figure out how you can get around it. The first thing that I did right out of the hospital was I had a friend who was staying with me for a couple weeks, so she was able to drive me. So of course, friends and family are an option. That gets old quickly, and a lot of times they don't have the time or in their schedule to drive you around when you need it. So there are other options that I learned pretty quickly. And the first one that I discovered was I rode the bus for the first time since I was in high school. And I'm in Los Angeles, so my tips are going to be California, things that are available in California and Los Angeles in particular. Now, there is a program if you are low income, and the income's on their website, but you go to the Metro website, and I'll link all the websites in the description down below. But if you go to the Metro website, you can get a tap card. And I recommend getting a tap card and not using cash on the bus because they give you discounts when you're doing connecting trips in the same day. So if you need to take multiple buses, they're going to discount it. For a lot of my trips, they would charge the first one, but not the second one. And so every other trip I was getting charged because I was doing a round trip. Initially, I had one customer that I was seeing when I first started using the bus. So get the tap card because you'll get more discounts. And then also, if you're low income, they do have a program called Life. I don't remember what it stands for, but I'll link that down below as well. And the Life program currently, now that these programs change, but right now they're giving you 90 days of free rides for the first 90 days. And then after 90 days, they give you discounts on the rides. And the income threshold is right around 41,000, but you can check their website out, and depending on when you're watching this video, that number can change. The program can change, of course, so always check to make sure it's up to date. But as of the day that I'm filming this, the income threshold to be considered low income is right around 41,000. You can apply online. I think you can apply at some of the bus stations, but there's very few bus stations in LA. Apply as soon as you think you might need it because the Life program does take a while to process. From what I've heard, it can take over a month. If you have a tap card already, do use that. If they have an option where you can enter your own tap card, or you can ask them to send you one. And if you ask them to send you one, it can take an additional month to get the tap card in the mail that's loaded with the free 90 days worth of trips. Another option that I found out about recently is that a lot of insurance companies will cover rideshare providers if you're going for a medical appointment. So this won't cover you if you want to go shopping or if you want to go see a friend or you want to go to work. But this will cover all your doctor's appointments and your scans and blood work and medical visits. The one that I found out about is it covers if you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or Medi-Cal. So if you're on any one of those three programs, it's called Anthem Transportation, and there's an app for it. It's called Movicare, and I'll link that down below as well. And it covers it completely. It gives you unlimited rides to facilities, and it'll cover things like, I signed up for it, and it takes me to all my doctor's appointments, takes me to my radiation appointment. My doctor's appointments can be far away, and I'm not comfortable driving that far. It also reimburses you if you have family or friends take you. You can get reimbursements. But it'll also order an Uber or a Lyft for you. So that's an option as well. I hope this helps somebody. I hope that whatever reason you can't drive right now ends soon. But for some people, it's forever. You know, I was an Uber driver when I lived in Texas for a short period of time. And I used to pick people up that had epilepsy, because there are certain conditions, you know, whether it's Parkinson's or epilepsy or some other medical condition, you may never be able to drive again. And if that's the case, it's good to know about these other programs. Because then if you have to pay for transportation out of pocket and you're not able to work at the same time, that gets really expensive really quickly. Last week, when I went to meet my radio oncologist, who's going to be doing my radiation treatment starting next week, when he told, this was before I knew about the Anthem transportation, and he told me, he says, yep, we're going to start you next week, and you'll need 5 visits per week for 6 weeks. So that's 30 visits. And I had splurged that day, and I had taken an Uber because I was just too tired to walk to the bus stop. You know, that's a factor too. If you're catching the bus and it's a 20-minute walk, some days you're tired and it's just too much. So I had splurged that day, and I had taken a Lyft. And the Lyft round trip was almost $40 from my house to the radio oncologist. And so I was doing the math in my head when the doctor was telling me you're going to need, you know, five times a week for 6 weeks, 30 visits. And I thought, okay, 30 times 40, that's $1,200 in transportation if I take a Lyft. How am I going to pay for that? I hadn't worked in 7 weeks. And I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And on the ride home, I was in the Lyft, and I was talking to the Lyft driver, and my doctor never mentioned it. My insurance never mentioned it. I'm talking to the Lyft driver, and he said, you know, I was just talking. I said, I don't know how I'm going to pay for all these trips. And he said, you know, a lot of insurance covers it. He said, you should check with your insurance. And I thought, wow, that would be really cool. And he asked me who my insurance was with, and I told him. He said, I'm pretty sure they cover it. He said, I've gotten rides from them before. So I went home and I did a little research, and sure enough, my insurance did cover it. But, you know, these are things that if you don't know, you don't know. And so I was so grateful that I did splurge that day, because that Lyft ride saved me so much in transportation costs. So that's why I'm making this video. If you're hit with a lot of transportation costs, you can't drive, you don't know what to do, there are options out there. It may not cover everybody, but if I help anybody with these videos, that's why I make them. So I hope that you're enjoying this beautiful weather, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.